Smartphones, all of those crazy devices, they're becoming a huge distraction for our kids. A lot of schools are saying, nope, can't have them in the classroom anymore. And others are wondering, should we get them out of schools entirely?
Right. But it makes it all the more important that parents really understand how to navigate this new technology with these devices.
And this is Chick2Chick.
You know, Flora, I still have one that's left in high school. She's in her last year of high school. And of course, now she's 18, right? So she's an adult. If she wants to have her phone with her, I think that is fine. But if I were to look at an 11-year-old or 12-year-old child, if I still had one in school, I don't know that I want them to have their phone. Look, we survived, did we not?
We certainly did.
I just think they're a huge distraction. And I think that it creates an issue in the classroom, and it also does at home. So, you know, it's a real big conversation we're having right now.
Honestly, it's not just a distraction. It's a safety issue too.
Sure.
I mean, as an adult, sometimes I freak out and I worry if I click this or I open up that app or I go to that website, is this secure? What am I doing? Like, you have to learn how to navigate all of this stuff safely, which brings us to our guest today. We have Sarah Oatney-Weiler. She is with Harrisburg Academy, and Caitlin Dahlmeyer. She is with the Social Institute. We're going to start with Sarah. Sarah, the Harrisburg Academy has brought the Social Institute into your curriculum. First of all, what is Harrisburg Academy's policy on cell phones and all of these devices? What's the school saying and doing about it? And why did you decide to partner with the Social Institute?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I think that this is a topic we all need to be discussing at home, in schools, and just in general in society. At Harrisburg Academy, we have an off and away policy, which means any kind of device, be it a cell phone or a smartwatch, should, for the younger ones, not even be brought to school. And for the older ones, should be off and away in their lockers throughout the school day. So it does not enter into the classroom at all. There might be the rare occasion that there's a pedagogic purpose, like they're filming something or they're posting something that's part of what they're learning in school. You know, in our school, it's an international baccalaureate school. We want to teach kids that what they learn, they should apply to their lives. So sometimes they might be doing a social action project and they'll use social media to elevate their work and to empower others to connect and take some action. But otherwise, it's off and away throughout the day. We want to see kids connecting with each other face to face, developing their social and their communication skills, and building strong, healthy relationships. But together with that policy, we also need to educate them, like you mentioned. They need to understand how they can engage with technology in a responsible way that also takes care of their health and well-being. So we work with the Social Institute in partnership to have lessons that really talk about things that they are, actually dealing with in their lives. From, group chats to social media to, is the phone with me at all times at home too? It's not just at school, but what is that alignment with at home? And that brings me to the third aspect of our three-pronged approach, which is family education. We need to work together because how they engage with technology at home and how they engage with technology at school, both are important for their development and how they understand how to use it in the correct way.
Yes, Sarah, all this is so incredibly important. I love that the Academy has decided to bring in the Social Institute. Yeah. So Caitlin, tell us about the program you have and what you do.
Yeah, so we partner with schools all throughout the world to be able to better empower students, educators, and their families, right? All key stakeholders in a child's education to make sure that everyone knows how to navigate their social experiences, both online and offline, in positive, high character ways that will fuel their health, happiness, and future success. And like Sarah mentioned, that's such a range. That includes navigating tricky group chat situations. That includes knowing how to have your friends' backs online when things might getting heated in a conversation, and then also protecting their privacy in a very digital world where passwords are important, and understanding the nuances of who I'm talking to on another screen is also really important. So a lot of different elements that play into making sure students know how to navigate a very fast evolving digital world.
So Sarah, you folks brought this into the curriculum at the start of the academic year. Is this a class like History 101, or is this something that you're taking these elements from the Social Institute and teachers are then incorporating it into different classes, whether it be math or social studies or science?
Yeah, that's a great question. We felt it was really important that all of our faculty has a role in engaging with students about these important topics, because it isn't something that is only comes up in one subject area or only comes up in one part of the day. So our teachers integrate this into their classrooms. They have a great repertoire of lessons offered by the Social Institute, thinking about the different ages of students, and they can select which ones they think are most relevant for their students, for the group that they have. So I like that it gives teachers agency in making those decisions, and it also helps them to think about the students in front of them and what's relevant to them. So, and then it also provides teachers the opportunity to talk to one another. What have they seen that's working from the lessons that they've had in class, and exchange ideas? And then that's together with all of the work that we're doing with families. You know, we brought in Caitlin at the beginning of the school year to launch this partnership and talk to our students and also talk to families. We had a session for families where she gave some great information and tools for parents. And I think we both recognize that parents are eager to have these tools and to talk to one another. How are you doing in your house? Is this a challenge for you too? Share that information and come up with strategies that they can work with together. I know that I just found this in my own house. I have a 13-year-old, and I have to institute, like, this is a time when the tech is put away. This is the time every night the tech's put away. And the kind of conversation is, you know, don't you trust me? And I said, it's not about trust. There's something.
You should have said, no, I don't trust you.
You know, but
no, you're 13. I don't trust you.
Well, and I think it's all about them learning how to use the tool in a way that benefits them, in a way, because there are amazing tools that we can use that are offered to us through technology nowadays, but we need to know how to use them correctly, how to use them responsibly, how to have an ethical participation online, and understand how many of the tech tools are designed to, like, hook us in. And sometimes, you know, those scrolling things, it's just hard for us to stop ourselves, even as adults, with it. And so it's developing this awareness and helping set the right boundaries for our children at home and for our students at school, so that when they get to be the age of your daughter, you know, 18, you know, finishing high school, going off into the adult world, they're able to make, you know, good choices for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, these are all amazing points and things that I've worried about as a parent. I mean, I had children who didn't have everything available to them on their phone in their beginning stages of adolescence, to a child that it was just like automatically there. I felt so behind the times as a parent, and I kind of leaned on my older kids who, you know, they knew a little bit more about everything. But as a parent, especially if you have younger children, you know, like you do, Sarah, that you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And here's the thing, that device becomes such a bone of contention, it becomes this argument. So Caitlin, you know, what can parents do to create that atmosphere in their home that, look, I don't want to fight about this. But we as parents need to understand what we can do to help safely navigate these apps, websites, like all of this stuff. Help give parents some good tips.
Yeah, so this is such a great question, and I appreciate your point of parents feeling behind the curve on these elements, as we now know that our children often know far more about technology And
Yeah.
they are the digital natives, and they're going to be the first generation with AI at their fingertips. So every day it takes effort for parents to keep up. And with this in mind, we do suggest to families that they huddle over helicopter. And what that means is consistently having conversations with your kids around not only their tech use and experiences, but also that of their peers, right? Who they're learning from as well, even if they don't have their own devices yet. But those conversations that they're having and what they're hearing from their friends is so impactful in their world. So the more that we open up dialogue with our child, the more we will learn how they are navigating their tech world and be able to respond, support, educate, and understand. So to help families in that journey of huddling, at the Social Institute, we do offer resources that can be found on our website called the Family Standard Agreement, that allows families to begin the process of setting standards in their own homes that align with maybe the school policies, and making sure that they are making good decisions for their children and their environment, and being able to reassess that as new devices are coming into the home or upgrades might be happening over time with their child. So that's what we really recommend. And then I'll also share this really important as families are thinking about, well, when is my child going to be ready to have that device or go on that journey or set those standards? I think it's important to note that every child is very different. I'm raising two kids right now at home, very different children. And so I know that they're going to be able to handle different things at different points in time. And so making this decision isn't easy. And we do suggest easing your child into technology, really helping them to build mental muscle and responsibility over a period of time. So the approach that we recommend is called the Rookie Varsity Pro approach. To give you an example of what that might look like in your own home, in the rookie stage, your child might have a starter device, like a wearable watch, for example. There are many watches now made for children that only connect them maybe with a couple contacts, mom, dad, grandma. And then also a learning tablet with maybe some learning games on it for that younger age group. And so through that process, you're crafting those standards of like Sarah said, right? When is time up? When do I have to put this down? Where am I allowed to have this device? Is the dinner table an acceptable place? And then as they move and they earn the opportunity to move into the next level because they're adhering to those standards, moving into the varsity stage where they might graduate into a device with some limitations, right? So understanding that many parents right now are opting into the old-fashioned flip phones where they can't access the internet yet, but they can have contacts and learn how to text responsibly and understand when we need to stop texting at night because people are sleeping and this is not an appropriate time to be in my group chat. And then, of course, moving into that pro stage where they have far fewer restrictions and multiple devices. And while we don't recommend a specific age, like Sarah mentioned, we often see this stage happening during high school. So when you are preparing for your child to depart from your home and to need to be able to navigate devices and, again, a healthy way that will fuel them for success.
So I've seen, 2-year-olds on iPads working that iPad better than I know what to do with my smartphone.
So true.
It's amazing. And you brought up the difference between huddle versus helicopter.
Yes.
I was full on helicopter. Okay. I was full on. My son's 26 now, but you know what? He did not fight me on it from the moment he got a cell phone all the way through high school and before he went off to college. I said to him, dude, give me your phone. Mm-hmm. You're not bringing it into your bedroom. These are the rules. This is what you're going to do. You need to sleep. And honestly, he didn't argue with me because I think at the end of the day, our kids still need boundaries and limits. And he understood what the boundary was. Mm-hmm. He didn't fight me on it. He's like, okay, mom. And he set it aside. So yeah, I was full on helicopter. I'm going to admit that. Sarah, I'm curious, how are the kids responding to this? And what are the parents saying about you folks bringing this into the curriculum?
I think the students have had a great response. I heard from a third grade teacher this week that she did one of the lessons that discussed bullying and in person and online. One thing that brought a lot of joy to my heart was that she said it was actually challenging for students because it's something that they aren't accustomed to seeing in our school at Harrisburg Academy. So that was a great feedback. But I think putting it on their radar so that when they see it, they know what it is, they can call it out, and they have worked on developing what are like responses to that. With parents, it has been an overwhelming response. They are so eager to have tools and to build community around common agreements that might be a little bit different, slightly different from household to household, but just building that community like we're all in this together. We need to help raise healthy, young people who can engage with technology in a responsible way. We even did a book study of the anxious generation with families. And it was just an overwhelming response, people coming out and wanting to talk about this. So it's been a great partnership so far. The Institute also offers our families a toolkit online. So I think I mentioned that, where they can go and look for specific things. Like with our middle school families, some of them have said, I don't know about Snapchat. What is this? What should I be looking out for? And so the Social Institute has that up there where like, these are things you should be aware of. These are things you should look out for. And I know that it's been very helpful.
Yeah. So that leads me to ask you, Caitlin, for people who are listening and watching and they really need some tips, they need to understand, what can you provide them? Is there another place that they can go to learn? Can they go to your website? Because I know if I were listening to this, as I actually am.
Help me, please. Help me.
I really,
help me.
and I'm not at, the Harrisburg Academy. I know that I would be like, this is phenomenal. I really want to change what's going on with my child in a very productive, like really good, nurturing way. So there's nothing, combative, and they know how to handle things. And so, yeah, for someone at home who's like, yes, Carrie, I want to know where that is. Ask her. So Caitlin, where can we find more information?
Yeah, the socialinstitute.com is a great place full of resources that we have that family standards agreement for families to be able to pull off. I absolutely recommend that you take a look at our site and look through our family resources. But I do also recommend that you ask your school. So a lot of schools do have a variety of different resources and are talking to families on a regular basis, like Sarah's sharing. And so oftentimes, if they're not able to share those resources, it might be a good time to have that conversation with your school and ask, what are those action steps that are being done to talk about this in a school environment? And then how can I best support that at home?
All great stuff.
Yeah.
Sarah, as we wrap this up, I know the Academy has an open house coming up. What's the date, time, location, all that good stuff, and where can parents get more information?
Well, we're going to have a whole school open house on Wednesday, February 26th. There are multiple times that families can come and pay us a visit and get to know all of the work that we do. I would also say, resonating with what Caitlin said, talk to the school where your students currently are. We have tried to take as proactive an approach to this topic as possible. And I hope that other schools are doing the same, because when we're only reactive to these situations, it's not looking at it globally. It's not looking at it holistically. And we need to have that home to school alignment. That is the secret for success. So I would love for people to come and visit us at the Academy on February 26th, but also check in to your current school and know what they're doing.
Sarah, Caitlin, all
Thank
good
you.
stuff. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have clicked things, I call it clickbait. I have clicked things and I'm like, oh, I want to read about that.
Right.
And I click it and then it takes me to something like totally inappropriate. And I'm like, so this is good stuff even for adults. And I'm really glad that they're bringing this into the classroom, because this is reality now. This is our future.
Oh, it's been reality.
It's been reality, right?
Reality.
And it's only going to get worse. We're just going to get more and more technology. and kids need to be educated. Parents need to know what their kids are looking at, stay on top of these things. We got to keep our kids safe.
We do. And I just have to harken back to what you said between helicopter and huddle. I know you said helicopter. I like to look at the huddle. I mean, I feel like as a visual,
I'm not a huddler.
As a visual, I feel like bringing the child into the fold. Like I'm thinking just bring the child into the fold and you huddle and you go, okay, what's going to work for us? Like, I love that. I think it should be a teamwork situation. So I love what they brought to the table today.
I think it's great.
I think it was all phenomenal information that we needed to know. We would love if you would head over to our YouTube channel, not only like and subscribe, but when you do that, you are going to get an immediate alert.
It's going to go ding.
Boom, you have a new podcast from Chick2Chick. So head over to YouTube channel and like and subscribe until we're back to chirp about another topic.